Hey there everyone, how's it going? As you can see, I have in my hands here a VCube 6, and today I'm going to talk about something kind of a cool trick that I kind of figured out while just messing around with it. Now, the 6x6 is a really fun cube to play with. I really, it works great. It's a lot of fun to mess around with. But sometimes you don't always feel like mixing it up and solving it completely. Either you want to just do something quicker with it, and that's what this video is all about. Now, if you know how to solve a 6x6, then you know that the last step of solving any bigger layered cube is to solve it as a 3x3, where you look at this is one edge piece, this is one corner, this is one edge piece, a center piece, and so on. Another thing you might also have realized is that if you turn only 3 layers at a time, you can use it as a 2x2. One more thing you might have realized is if you turn it just 2 layers at a time, you can also use it just like a regular 3x3. So that's another thing I find really cool about this cube, is that you can do so many things with it. You can use it so many different ways. It's like having like 4 cubes in one. Now, something you might not have realized is that by mixing it up a certain way, you can combine, you can solve it as a 2x2, 3x3, 3x3 all in one solve, and that didn't really make sense, but I'm going to explain it. What I mean by that is, you start off by mixing it up like a 3x3. So just turning the outer layers. And this is easy to solve. You can just solve it. This is your center, these are your edges, and so on. If you want to solve a 6x6, you know what I'm talking about. But then, as you can see, these center pieces are still completely solved. What you can do from this point on is then mix it up again like a 3x3, turning 2 layers at a time. And it's very important that you turn 2 layers at a time. If at any point you turn just 1 layer or 3 layers, it messes this up completely and it won't work. So you turn 2 layers at a time. And what this does is now you ignore the outer layers completely, because now these are going to be kind of mixed up. But as you can see here, if you look at this part and this part, for instance, this is still a black-orange edge, and if you were to solve it, you could solve it as you were 3x3, as if you were to turn just the 2 layers. And from then on, you still see you have these little centers again that are still unmixed up. This basically is you have a 2x2. By looking at just these centers, so here like the black, blue, and orange, you have a 2x2 inside this. And what you can do is go again and mix that up by turning just 3 layers. And what you have now is a cube that looks almost completely mixed up. To anyone who's just looking at this cube, they'll think it's completely mixed up, and you'd have to go about the normal way of solving it. And this is also kind of something cool you can mess around with your friends who don't really know much about cubing. This is obviously, you can solve this now a much faster way than the regular way of solving it. And what you do is you solve it in the way that you mixed it up. So the last way you mixed it up was a 2x2. So you then would solve the 2x2 portion of it, which is these little lockups. You would then solve the 2x2 portion of it by looking at just these pieces. So here you have the green, red, and black edge piece, corner piece, sorry. Here you have the green, red, and yellow corner piece. Corner piece. And I'm not going to go into detail about how to solve a 2x2, but if you know how to solve a 2x2, you can do it that way. Then, so now that you fix these again, you can go on and solve the next kind of layer, the next 3x3. So you look at these are your centers, and these pieces here are your edge pieces. So this would be like the orange and yellow. So here you have it lined up. You line up this, and you would just go about making your yellow cross like you would any regular 3x3. But again, it's important that you turn 2 layers at a time, because if you turn just 1 layer, again, it mixes everything up. So at this point, you just go about solving a regular 3x3, and noting that you're not paying attention to this layer at all. At this point, this edge, you're ignoring it. All you want is these pieces here. So for instance here, to complete this cross, you would need the yellow and red edge piece. So you look around for that, and here it is, the yellow and the red edge piece. And you just go about and solve this exactly like a normal 3x3. And again, this is just, so next I would need to do the corners. So I mean, you can solve it literally any way. You're solving exactly 3x3 right now. So whatever method you use to solve a 3x3, you just go ahead and do that method. And yeah, and again, this is just something that I found this really cool about a 6x6, because I like playing around with it. I don't always feel like solving the whole thing, the centers and edge pairing, which takes forever. So this is a cool kind of way that you can just play around with it. And also, if say you don't want to do all 3 layers, you can just do 2. You can just mix up the outer 3x3, then the inner 3x3, and solve those. You can do just you know, each individual step. This cube works as so many different cubes, and that's what's so great about it. So now see, I have my 2 layers done on the 3x3. So I have the center and the first 2 layers. And now I just gotta do the top layer. So here I have gotta make my top cross. Sorry about that, camera problems. Anyway, so I finished the top layer. Now I gotta do my so yeah, I oriented the top layer. Now I just gotta permutate the last layer. But again, if you don't solve it this way, you solve it any way that you solve a 3x3 works. And so now, if you know how to solve a 6x6, you'll realize that you're up to just the last step where you have all your edges paired, your center's done, and you just got to solve it like 3x3. And that's what's cool about this, is if you're with a friend or something who someone who doesn't really know much about cubing, to them it'll seem as if you solved it completely from scratch. Because at the beginning we had a 6x6 that looked, even to an expert cuber would have looked at it and it would have looked completely messed up, because you have no way of telling that you mixed it up in a special way. I mean, that's the point, is if you're showing the real cuber and they see you mix it up, they'll know you're not doing it properly. But either way, it's still a fun way to play around with it, and I just thought it was something cool and a different way to use your 6x6. And yeah, I just thought I'd share this with you guys. Hopefully you guys find it cool. If I didn't explain something too well, if you guys don't know 100% what I'm talking about, leave a comment or send me a message or something, because I might not have explained this the best way possible. But yeah, I mean, that's just another way to solve the 6x6. And of course, this way works just the same on a 7x7, because the 7x7, in fact, you can go 1 layer deeper. Yeah, because you have this outer layer, this inner layer. Okay, sorry, no. On the 7x7, you don't go 1 layer deeper, but instead of a 3x3, a 3x3, and a 2x2, here it's just 3x3s all the way down, because it's an odd number cube, so you can't use it like a 2x2. But you can do 3 layers of a 3x3, and if you mix it up that way, you can do the exact same thing for here, where you're solving the inner 3x3, then the outer 3x3, and then the last layer of it. And so this works the same on both of these cubes. And it even works on a 5x5, where you have this outer layer and then this inner 3x3. But I mean, it's obviously a lot easier on the 5x5, but it's still a cool thing. It works on any one of these cubes. It works on any big numbered cube, big layered cube, and it's just, yeah, thought it's something I'd share with you guys. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. So again, any questions or anything, just comment, rate, subscribe, and I hope you guys like the video. Thanks for watching.